If there's one thing I can say this government has done to positively impact the real estate industry, it has to be this MREIF Mortgage Facility. We all know that housing is a major challenge in the country. And as much as we don't have enough houses, even the ones that are available, people can't afford them. The traditional mortgage system in Nigeria is too expensive for an ordinary Nigerian. So this MREIF mortgage facility is definitely a game changer. So when the government introduced the facility, I think it started with 12% interest rate, 100 million maximum amount per person, and 20% equity contribution. But a few months down the line, I think they reconsidered and they reduced the interest rate from 12% to 9.75%. And they also reduced the equity contribution to 10% to further make it easy for people to access the facility. But as of right now, I think most banks seems to have exhausted their MREIF allocations. And a lot of people are scared. A lot of new home seekers are stuck with their mortgage applications. And some people have even asked me if this is the end of the entire MREIF thing. But that is not necessarily the truth because this MREIF facility is a 1 trillion naira target program, right? And the initial funding since the inception of the facility, the initial funding, I think is just 250 billion. The government provided 150 billion and 100 billion was raised from institutional investors. So that's to tell you there's still a 750 billion opportunity for prospective homeowners, right? And more so, I think more so as at last month, the report from the federal government as regards the amounts disbursed to banks so far is just 128 billion. It's not even up to the 250 billion that was raised for the facility. Right, so that's to tell you there's still enough money to be disbursed to banks. So if you're currently processing a mortgage with a bank now that have exhausted their funding, you can just switch to another bank who still has funds available. But one thing I can tell you for a fact is that in the next couple of months, all of these banks that have exhausted their funding will definitely get another round of funding. Well, I can't just give a date, a certain date, but I know for a fact they're going to get funding. And even if eventually the 250 billion already raised by the federal government gets exhausted, like I said, it's a 1 trillion naira target program. So they see that 750 billion naira opportunity. So what's going to happen is that the government is going to probably provide a part of the funding and also raise the remaining funding from institutional or private capital. So one thing that is certain is that this MREIF has come to stay.